We dedicate these gifts to the work of this congregation, weaving a tapestry of compassion and action, faith and fellowship, hope and wholeness. We dedicate these gifts to the work of this congregation, and we affirm our lives within it. Thank you.
Before the presentation, I will tune because I care.
That's what they always say. Have you ever noticed that? We tune because we care. How are y'all this morning? Good. You look so beautiful. It's nice seeing you all kind of pushed together because we build because we care.
It's impossible to be happy all the time. If happiness was constant, it would be nothing special. But it may be more available to us than we realize. It's all around us if we look, and it's also inside each one of us. I'm going to ask you at this time to close your eyes and recall a place or time in which you were truly happy. Perhaps it was your childhood, falling in love, raising a child, enjoying the arts. Go to that place. Recall how it felt. Use all your senses. What did you see? What sound was present? Were there tastes and smells? Were other people there? Smile as if you were in that moment. Now sit for a while in your happy place. When you feel comfortable, open your eyes and return to this room, knowing that this happy place is always available to you. When stressed or upset, you can restore balance by accessing your capacity to be happy. When current situations are down, remember that hard times will pass and happiness will return.
My happy place is in Chicago. I grew up in a rough neighborhood. The gangs on my street traded weapons, guns, with Muammar Gaddafi in Libya. That's fact. Yet a few blocks from my home was Jackson Park. It stretched all the way to Lake Michigan. My favorite place was near the entrance, not far from the busy rumble of Stony Island Avenue. There was a giant sycamore tree that I called the Bishop. The Bishop. Its bark had shed, revealing the wide, tall column underneath. Looked like white robes. I would walk with my German shepherd for companionship and protection, and we would go to the Bishop, and I would sit at the feet of the Bishop. I would carry an apple with me, a crisp apple. My dog and I would share that apple, and I would read a book. And all the noise and confusion of the city would just fall away, be completely lost in my book with my dog. I felt safe. Now, when Charlie and I visit the craziness of Chicago, I always drive by and say hello to the Bishop. Today in New Bern, I think about the Bishop and I smile.
The song we're about to sing is about my happy place. In summers of my youth, northern Michigan temperatures rarely went into the 90s. The days were warm, but not stifling. And Lake Huron was always available to cool you down, cool you way down, because the Great Lakes are pretty cold. Our little town didn't have many houses and didn't have any major street lights, and so it was pretty dark at night. And that darkness allowed us to watch meteorites blaze across the sky. My small town wasn't perfect. Nothing is. In summer, you always had to have a greasy suntan lotion on. And then you'd put a layer of off on you because the mosquitoes and bugs were everywhere. So you kind of lived your life as kind of a smelly, greasy urchin. But nevertheless, I was happy, surrounded by family and friends. And even when I was alone at night, solitude on the shore, the moon over Lake Huron would cast a path across the waters, and you could almost walk up and touch the moon. The song of my youth that I liked was called Turn Down Day, Nothing on My Mind. It's a turn down day, and I dig it. I would literally turn down the stress by digging a hole in the sand and resting in that cool cocoon of earth. Summer leaves green and lovely, nodding trees right above me, nodding in agreement. Summertime is here. Boats come into the harbor, throwing lines port and starboard, barbecues on the dock. Summertime is here. I have waited some long time for it to be summertime, spending daylight savings time, lazing out in the sunshine, lazing out in the sunshine. Summer dance in the evening, summer heat becomes freezing. The guys take off their shirts. Summertime is here. Moonlit fires on the beaches are gazing eye out reaches to catch a falling star. Summertime is here. I have waited some long time for it to be summertime, spending daylight savings time, lazing out in the sunshine, lazing out in the sunshine. Summer life's not so easy, suntan oil's a bit greasy, and bugs are everywhere. But summertime is here. Radio music playing, imagination spraying. Someone hand me a beer. Summertime is here. Summertime is here. You may not know it, but this is my Hawaiian shirt. It's a Tommy Bahama, and if you look at it closely in the light, you might see a leaf or two in the detail. I am a person who is prone to depression, and I've been treated for it at times because I have this special skill. I am very skilled at finding the dark side of anything. When balloons are released into the air, I think of how many birds might choke on them. When people smile too much, I wonder what they're hiding or trying to sell me. And sometimes when I'm happy, genuinely happy, I realize how temporarily it will be and look for the reason and the inevitable disappointment. I envy those people who seem to be able to find a reason to laugh at any time. When I was 23, I met a man named Abdullah Muhammad. I have a picture of him on the altar today, and after service you might want to come look at him. I worked with Gail in an organization called Little Brothers of the Poor, and he was a client of mine. And he must have been disappointed because the picture is with his previous caseworker, who is much more attractive than I am. He was 89 years old when I met him, and he was a retired railroad worker. He did not have an easy life. He had lost his only son in a tragic accident. Through the turmoil of the 60s, he became involved with the Nation of Islam and changed his name from Perry Davis to Abdullah Muhammad. But he still liked to play and sing gospel music. And when I would visit him, he would play his accordion and I'd play my dulcimer, and we would sing together all these old songs. One day I went to visit and he was missing. The 40-ish woman who he lived with told me she kicked him out. She said, I don't know where he went. He called later from a halfway house up in Uptown, which despite its name is a pretty rundown neighborhood of Chicago. And as a social worker, I went and started helping him search for apartments. While we were walking, he tripped and fell flat down onto a curb. I panicked. I was in charge of him. My client was down. But before I could even react, he had popped up and started dusting himself. I didn't even see that curve there. At that moment, I said, not only is his spirit eternal and his smile indestructible, perhaps even his body is too. Because he went down hard. This man did not have an easy life, but he did not see that as a reason to be sad. He just kept on keeping on. I figure Muhammad would be about 113 years old today. And part of me believes that he is still alive, because I can't imagine anything else. His songs live in my heart, and he still makes me smile. He's a constant reminder that life is too important to be taken seriously. Even in the midst of tragedy, there are moments that can make you smile. The human spirit has a well of happiness ready to spring forth. His access to that may have been the songs of his youth. What do you use to access your well of happiness? What is your bucket that you use to lift up bukus of joy? Too often we let our ropes fray and prevent us from drawing on the waters of life. Let us renew our connection to life and laughter as we listen to this song about Muhammad. Muhammad is a man set in most his ways. He'll grab his accordion and begin to play. What band, what band, what band do you belong to? What band, what band? It's the Sunday morning band. At the age of 89, Muhammad left his place, moved in with a lady that was half his age. When they began to fight about where the money went, Muhammad left the south side, uptown's where he went. He lived in a halfway house, that was not his place. He only knows one way to live, and that is all the way. He went apartment hunting, and in a couple of days, he did the impossible, he found the perfect place. Muhammad wears a smile, he will not grow old. He does what he wants to, not what he is told. Muhammad will probably die at 182. When he meets his maker, he'll sing him this tune. When I was a flower, still in my bloom, what made you cut me down so soon? When I was a flower still in my bloom, what made you cut me down so soon?
What band, what band, what band do you belong to? What band, what band? The Sunday morning band. When I was a flower still in my bloom, what made you cut me down so soon?
Every emotion has a need. Sadness needs comfort. Fear needs salvation. Anger needs justice. But what does happiness need? The very definition of happiness means that you've gotten what you want. But yet, happiness needs to be shared. When we hear a good joke, we want to tell it to someone else. Food tastes better when it's shared with people we love. It's more fun to watch a movie with other people. One feels self-conscious laughing when the theater is empty. I learned from Muhammad that one can enjoy even when a town is as rough as Chicago. I was excited when I heard that a friend from Asheville, North Carolina was coming to visit me. And I could not wait to show her the good and even the bad parts of town, because by that time I'd come to love Chicago in all its complexity. Happiness is fleeting. It comes and goes like a butterfly. And sometimes when you try to cling too tightly, you crush it. But sharing happiness extends its life and transforms it. Shared happiness becomes grace. One is grateful for what has been received and graciously shares it with others. Grace is a moral emotion. It stems from a sense of justice, that if I'm happy, other people should be happy too. It is the root of the reciprocity found in the commandment, do unto others as you would have them do unto you.
Now, this maxim does not always apply. I enjoy tuna fish. which Charlie thinks smells like cat food. He enjoys peanut butter that smells like another brown byproduct to me. When eating lunch, we have learned to do unto ourselves only. Perhaps a better maxim might be, do unto others as they enjoy being done to. Or the Marxist version, to each according to their need. If happiness relies on getting, it is elusive and it is fleeting. But if we learn to have happiness based on sharing, then it is easier to access and it is more eternal. If we live in grief, if we live in grace, if we live in grace, when we
live in grace when we truly feel
I can't read.
It is better to give
than
it is to
receive.
receive.
Darn, I blew that. This is Take a Bus to Chicago.
Take a bus to Chicago, pick you up downtown. Been so long since I've seen you, I want you around. 3 years ago I met you, that was in Detroit. We sure had a good time, running around all night.
And then you came to Asheville,
Yeah.
last year.
Wanted to go to California, but I wound up here. Take a bus to Chicago, I'll show you around. Haven't lived here very long, but I love this town. I could show you a ghetto on the south side. I could show you a Clark Street bar where gay people go at night. We can try to rush, and we won't go to Bridgeport, 'cause we'd cause a scene. 'Cause you're black and I am white, and that makes those people mean. We could go to Rush Street, where the jet set goes. We could act superficial and wear our fancy clothes. Take a bus to Chicago, I'll show you around. Haven't lived here very long, but I love this town. I could show you the bright lights
I know you could.
from the 96th floor. Take the L to Wrigley Field and catch a wild hair reggae show. We could ride to Dan Ryan, and if we survive, we could cruise easy down Lakeshore Drive all night long. Take a bus to Chicago,
Hey, yeah.
I'll show you around. Haven't lived here very long, but I love this town. Take a bus, take a bus, take a bus to Chicago.
Come on,
I'll show you around. Haven't lived here very long, but I love this town. But I love, you gotta know I love this town. Hasya Yoga. Hasya Yoga is also known as laughter yoga. It is a practice in which a group of people pretend to laugh, and after a while the laughter becomes real. Because watching other people pretend to laugh is so ridiculous that one cannot contain one's laughter. It was started by an Indian physician, Madan Kataria, who wrote a book in 2002 called Laugh for No Reason. Now, Unitarian Universalists pride themselves on being reasonable people. Stop. Look at someone else in the room. Just start laughing. Just start laughing. I mean, you don't really have to be mean. Just start laughing. I mean, we can all laugh. You start laughing. I see it's perfect. I want to laugh. You're acting. It's a class. Just laugh. You just got it. Everybody's here. Laugh. I hear you laugh. I can hear a louder laughter now. There's our snort. Now, studies have shown that this actually works. Lowers blood pressure, helps people with depression more than control groups who are only taking medicine. True happiness is complex. But it appears that in some cases we can fake it until we make it. Oftentimes I think we squelch joy by pretending to be grown-ups. Some of us have even trained for years to become professionals. Laughter yoga helps us shed that facade. It shifts our focus. And I think we often need to shift our focus and expand our vision of the world. When we are upset, our worldview becomes narrow. We only focus on what is upsetting us, and we forget the rest of the world. We close ourselves off to other possibilities. When we see evil, we should look for good, because it's usually there. And if you can't find it, make it so.
As Captain Picard says.
The world is amazing if only we open our eyes. Other people might think you are crazy when you point out all the good things in life. Do not let them convince you that all is lost. I was an intern minister, and I was preparing for my first memorial service. And my mentor, the Reverend Dr. Tony Larson, told me, remember, the first syllable of funeral is fun. And throughout my ministry, in many UU memorial services, over 25 years of them, I've witnessed much laughter, even as people grieved. I've seen people have fun in the midst of serious political protests with amazingly huge puppets and body paint and satirical songs. I have cavorted with muddy comrades pulling trash from rivers. It's not a fun job. The tasks of life are hard, but they are made more difficult when we let our oppressors suppress our laughter. Let us shed the shackles of repression and laugh in the face of adversity. Its perversity will be revealed, and we will be healed. Lifts up and separates, the clouds scamper away, leaping and laughing to the horizon.
My teeth are showing and my face is glowing as I spin and jump, spin and jump, spin and jump around. I'm gonna yell, I don't care who hears me. I don't care if they think I'm strange or if they think I'm crazy. They walk from place to place, worried about things at both ends. The worry wrecks the walking, and eyes are glued to the pavement, and minds are glued to the pain. But I'm gonna yell, I don't care who hears me. I don't care if they think I'm strange or if they think I'm crazy. I'll scream such a joyous noise. I'm gonna be glad and overrun the bad. The sky lifts up and separates, the clouds scamper away, leaping and laughing to the horizon. My teeth are showing and my face is glowing as I spin and jump, spin and jump, spin and jump around. Yell with me. I'm gonna yell, I don't care who hears me. I don't care if they think I'm strange or if they think I'm crazy. I'll scream, such a joyous noise, such a joyous noise. I'm gonna be glad and overrun the bad. The sky lifts up, and separates, the clouds scamper away as I spin and jump, spin and jump, spin and jump around. I just looked at the clock to see if we have time for response. Which means we have time for a response.
We're at 11:27. So just a couple people just have ideas of ask some questions in that. Just how do you access joy, even in the midst of the times we live in, and your personal? Share what works for you.
What makes you happy, and how do you keep yourself? Anybody?
Buy a puppy. I've seen pictures of that puppy online.
That puppy
that brings me happiness too.
Do you think and do you know that happiness is overrated? Because we live in a society where we have placed happiness as a thing instead of a real emotion from within.
Yes, I think that there is that sense. There are so many things that need our work. But I think at the same time, if we can find a way to do that work with joy, it will keep us from burning out, because there's too much work to do for us to get. If we were really aware of how horrible things were, we'd all crawl into the hole and die. So we have to figure out.
How do you find ways
How
to
do you find a way to access the joy that keeps you going?
So when I'm feeling stressed or overwhelmed, I just make myself smile, like a really huge, I'm so happy, smile. And, like, until I feel it. And it takes a while sometimes, but it actually works.
Yeah. Fake it till you make it. All right. Anyone over here?
Yeah, I'm going to share. I've been at high, happy, and low, happy, all within the last 90 minutes. And when I got to my low, I said, even if I'm late, I'm going to UU.
One sure way I find of accessing happiness is to look up at the sky and see how big it all is, really.
I just got to get busy. That's all I got to do. You know, if I do, I'm okay. If I think about how I am or think about what I should do instead of just doing, then I'm not okay.
Anybody over here?
I connect with my 7-year-old granddaughter, and that pure joy and innocence just makes me happy.
I want you to share these things with each other in coffee hour and throughout the week, and try to remember yourself what brings you joy.
And I dare anyone to look at the face of Abdullah Muhammad and not smile.
And you have a little light within you. It grows bigger if you shine it and share it. Let us sing together our closing hymn, This Little Light of Mine, 118.